I know you grew up along Route 66. Do you have any memories from working, working or just growing up around everything that you would like to share?
Yes, we were in the produce business, and the Finley's fruit market was there on Route 66. I think around Mississippi and 6th Street. And that was kind of the heart of Route 66 at the time. And it was very alive, very vibrant. All the businesses were family owned and all of them unique and had their own little style that, the owners would put to them. And so I didn't think that much about it at the time. But when I got older and got a driver's license and I drove out into West Texas and some of the other towns and all they had was a grain elevator, because I thought the whole world had cool stuff like Route 66 did because I grew up on it. And then when I got to travel a little bit, there were a lot of places that were just boring. They didn't have anything but a grain elevator and a gas station. And I didn't realize at the time just how wonderful an experience that was.
Sure. You're huge in swing dancing and just performing, period. How did you get into, or how did you discover your love of the arts?
Well, I started dancing, and actually I learned to dance on old Route 66 at a place called Jody's Inferno. And Wednesday night they would have ladies' nights, and I'd go over there, and they knew how to dance, and I didn't. And I sure scuffed up a lot of those ladies' boots when I was learning, but they were very kind. And in 1979, I actually waltzed across Texas from Clovis, New Mexico to Hollis, Oklahoma. And that was 1 year after I started here at Amarillo College. I taught dance here for 21 years. After I learned how to dance, I taught Western swing dance and two-step and the Cotton Eye Joe. I fell in love with the dances, and so I learned all of them. And they were a lot more prevalent 30, 40 years ago than they are today. And I actually was inducted in 2019, in May of 2019, also play music. I was inducted into the Western Swing Hall of Fame out of Fort Worth, Texas. The Cowtown Society of Western Swing is the name of that organization.
Okay. That's all really cool. How did you, I know you perform with the Big Texan a lot. How did you get into that? How did you start?
I had a roommate that was a fiddle player, and a friend that I grew up with there on Route 66 was a guitar player. And I thought, if those guys can play music, because they were having more fun than me, and I just couldn't stand that. So, I said, if those guys can do that, well, surely I can too. Little did I know what a challenge that would be. I don't read music, and I picked the fiddle up when I was 24 years old. I didn't pick the guitar up until 1990. I still don't read music, but I'm not self-taught. I always hung around with people that were better than me, and I could watch and I could learn from them.
Okay. You said you danced across, or
waltzed across Texas, yes. No, I started to go down Route 66, but that was actually below that at Highway 86 that ran from Clovis, New Mexico to Hollis, Oklahoma. So it was actually about 50 miles south of Route 66. That went cross country, though, on Highway 86. It was a farm-to-market road.
What was that like? Just, you kind of tell me about what
I started on September the 10th of 1979, and I had music playing along. I danced with 21 women. It took me 19 days, and I finished over in Hollis, Oklahoma on my 26th birthday, and Ernest Tubb, the guy that wrote the song Waltz Across Texas, actually threw me a birthday party in Turkey, Texas, the home of Bob Wills. And once I got through, I had made a big mistake. Of course, I was 25 years old when I started, and I looked at it more as a marathon. And once it was over, and I should have enjoyed it more. I should have slowed down and just met the most wonderful people along the way, and people that I'd never met would, there were no hotels or motels in a lot of the places. Never met them, and they'd invite me to come and spend the night, and they'd fix dinner for us, and it was great experience.
Okay. How do you think the Route 66 has kind of influenced your career? Like, do you think you in where you are today without it?
Well, I know that my life is a lot richer because of it, and sometimes wealth is not always measured in dollars and cents, and just to have the wonderful, wonderful memories. Also, are y'all familiar with the Sad Monkey Railroad that used to be down in the floor of Paladir Canyon? Paladir Canyon, back in the 50s and 60s, had a small quarter rail diesel train, and it was open air coaches, and you could pay $1.50, and it actually went down through the bottom of Paladir Canyon, and you'd give you a ride down in the canyon. And that's probably, along with Route 66 and all the neon signs and all the people, is one of my favorite childhood memories. It's called the Sad Monkey Railroad, named after the formation down there of Sad Monkey, Texas. And they've just restored that train. It's down in Canyon now, and you can actually go see it. Favorite childhood memories, but there were so many neat things around at the time that it was a very rich childhood. Now, looking back,
Okay. No, 2 minutes. All right. You said that you got to dance at the final section of Route 66. What was that like?
No, I was at the final closing. Bob Lee Sr., that built the Big Texan Steak Ranch in 1984, sent me to McLean, Texas, and that was the last section of Route 66 that was the original highway that ran through McLean, and it was a little two-lane, and then they built the overpass, and now I-40 was open, but that was the last section to officially close. A week later, the last section of Route 66 closed forever in Williams, Arizona, and that was what they called it, decommissioning, and they decommissioned that officially in 1985, but the section was closed there in McLean in 1984. I believe it was July, and the Amarillo Globe News, our Chamber of Commerce, was there, and Bob Lee Sr., that built the Big Texan, had the vision to send me over there on my stilts and a fiddle to be a dignitary and to represent Amarillo and the Big Texan at that event. And it was a very sad event because I knew McLean was going to wither up and die, because I'd seen the other towns along the way that when the highway bypassed them, their business from the highway disappeared. And so it was a sad day. And then 42 years later, we come back and we're doing an interview of that, and how insightful of that. And the Devil's Rope Museum, the building there, they actually have a photograph of me on my stilts with my fiddle in there at the closing of the last section of Route 66. And so I'm in the Devil's Rope Museum, so I'm officially a relic now. But the Devil's Rope Museum was before that, it was a bra factory, I just found out. And the nickname for McLean, Texas was called Uplift City. This is true story. I just found that out, and I had no idea when I was in that building. But if you get a chance to stop, the Devil's Rope Museum in McLean, Texas is probably one of the best museums that holds artifacts of the old highway.